As my sister would say, I've got my grr face on this morning. I woke up this morning and opened my email to find not one, but several emails from WikiAnswers.com saying how this gentleman had sent me a couple messages and he had changed my answers. I don't mind a slight rewriting of answers and stuff. I've been told in the past that you're not allowed to delete answers that other people leave. Yet this guy is going in and totally wiping out even the fact that I left answers. The reason that he is doing this is, and this is word for word what his email said. Please note that continuing to place nonsense answers on answers.com can result in your account being suspended. If you have any questions, feel free to reply to this message and I'll do my best to help. Your continued placing of pagan opinion about Catholicism instead of giving an honest answer is getting a bit tedious. When a person asks a question, they want and deserve a correct answer. If the question is in the Catholicism or Christian category, the answer should be relevant to those categories and not from a pagan. As you have had a number of similar warnings in the past, because of your failure to follow wiki policy, the next action I take will be a permanent ban. Okay, well, first of all, the outnote says that a pagan should not be answering questions in the Christian or Catholic category. For those of you who don't know, for the first 15 years of my life or so, I was raised Catholic. I went to Sunday school. I was forced to go to church. I had a very Christian upbringing. However, I knew from a very young age that it was not for me. And the moment that I was able to finally stand up to my parents and say, look, I don't want to be part of this religion. I want to walk my own path. First opportunity I had, I took it. And I'm much happier now with God than I was back then. I mean, my life's not perfect, but I don't think anyone's is. And that's fine. That's the way it's supposed to be. If there aren't bumps in the road, how are you going to know where the smooth spots are? Anyway, so that would be problem number one. He outnote says that a pagan has no right to answer these questions. The second problem with his email is that he says I've had several warnings. I have not. This is the first time I've heard of it. I had been warned in the past not to delete other members' answers, and when they looked into it, it hadn't been me deleting them anyway, so that warning was retracted. So I've never officially had a warning placed against me. So that would be what's wrong with his email. The other thing would be, as a pagan, I'm not allowed to answer Christian questions. Well, why are the Christians allowed to answer pagan questions? Because they will go in. I'm not saying every Christian out there does this, but the ones that tend to answer the questions I stumble upon do. They go in and they quote Bible verses and they tell us how we're all a bunch of heathen, child molesting, orgy having, nitwit, hillbilly, we're all going to hell and so on and so forth. Every slur you could sling at a person, I have read and seen slurred and slung at us pagans and Wiccans and witches and heathens and so on. We're all human beings, folks. It doesn't matter what you believe in. We all deserve the right to believe openly in what we choose. And without opening another can of worms, yes, I do believe that polygamists should be able to believe in their multiple marriages. If that's part of their religion, that's part of their religion. And just like Muslims...
Got spam.
Oh, it's a message from him. And we'll get to that in a second. Anyway, as I was saying, I think everybody has the right to believe what they want to, as long as you are not hurting another individual. Anyway, I'm getting off track. My point is I think we all have the right to believe what we want to believe. Anyway, like I said, this guy told me that I couldn't answer Christian questions because I happen to be pagan. Yet, he does not discriminate against Christians answering pagan questions. Well, this is his second email, okay? Now, keep in mind, he's already told me that as a pagan, I don't have the right to answer Christian questions. Your answers would be perfectly acceptable if in the pagan or occult category. However, when placed in the Christian or Catholic categories, they become nonsense, as they are contrary to Christian beliefs. I would suggest you limit your involvement to the categories listed above, and when the question is classified under any of the Christian subcategories, you leave the answering to those of a Christian, not pagan background. I'll remind you that Wiki is not a debate forum. If you wish to debate religion, there are many websites out there to do so. I do not answer questions in the occult or paganism categories with Catholic answers. In fact, I've never visited those areas. I would expect you to return that courtesy, especially if you wish to continue as a contributor. Well, yeah, so once again he tells me that I don't have the right to answer questions outside the pagan category, even if they're pagan questions. For example, what did the Catholic Church invent to convert pagans? Well, I was taught in Catholic Sunday school that they used the devil, who resembled the pagan god, to convince the pagans that they were worshipping a bad entity, and therefore were going to go to hell for worshipping the devil. So, my answer to the question, what did the Christians create to convert pagans? My answer would be they invented the devil. The church openly admitted that was the leading cause for the first conversions. It's an honest answer. It's what I was taught in Catholic Sunday school. Yet because I'm now openly pagan, that answer's no good. Like I said, I've got my grr face on and I'm venting and I'm sorry. After recording this video, or at least the audio for this video, I went back and I looked at Wikipedia. I was going to stick to the paganism categories. I was going to be a good little girl. And anyway, I go into the paganism category. And under the heading of recent category activity, I go in and I see, surprise, surprise, that this guy, let's just call him Wilhelm, removed what is an abbess from the pagan category. He did this at 3:29 p.m. November 29th, 2011. Yet, at 12 p.m. November 30th, less than 24 hours later, he claims that he's never been into that part of the website. Yet there's proof right there that he made a change. He deleted a question from the paganism category. So that whole claim of, I'm Christian, so I don't touch the pagan category thing is utter bunk. This guy, there's nothing that I can say about this guy that would be good at this moment, so I'm going to end the video here.